Good morning, and again, welcome to our morning briefing presented by the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. I'm Jeff Catula, President of the Chamber. I'd like to thank this morning our continuing sponsor, Community Bank, and our event sponsor this morning, Range Resources, for supporting this event. This morning, it's my pleasure to welcome Jeff Nobers, Executive Director of Pittsburgh Works Together. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and hopefully you're doing well as well.
Yes, it's great to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to your members.
And Jeff, I understand you brought a few guests with you this morning.
Yes, along with me, Tom Melcher. Tom is the business manager for the Pittsburgh Regional Building Trades Council. So he represents 16 building trade unions here in the region, as well as a few others that are allied to the building and construction industry. And also Scott Roy. Scott, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. He's with Range Resources. Both of these gentlemen are involved with me in Pittsburgh Works Together. Tom is our co-chair, along with Morgan O'Brien, who the former CEO of Peoples, and Scott is one of our board members, and Range is one of the founding members of the organization. And we're very excited about it. We've been together less than a year, and I think we all agree that we've made some good strides in our mission and what we're trying to do to impact positively growth in this region.
Well, Tom, good morning. Tom, good morning to you. We appreciate you being with us. And Scott, thank you as always for being with us. You and Range have been a great supporter of ours, and we truly appreciate that. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks, Jeff.
So, Jeff, tell me about Pittsburgh Works Together.
Well, Jeff, we got together just about a year ago and started to talk about putting together an organization. At that time, pre-pandemic, our focus really was to balance a lot of the conversation that revolved around the energy industry, the gas industry, as well as utilities and manufacturing, and to also ensure that there was a recognition that what we call our legacy industries certainly have a critical place and critical role in whatever this new economy is that so many people talk about. There was this love affair that developed, obviously, with the tech industry and autonomous vehicles and so forth, and that's great, and we support those industries. We're glad they're here, and we will help them grow and flourish as well. But we just wanted to make sure that people understood that we need to be a part of that equation, that you're not going to have a growing and vibrant economy without our energy industry, our manufacturing industry, our construction industry, our utility industry. These are all critical players, employ tens of thousands of people in very good middle-class jobs where people are making $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year with great benefits. So we certainly can't afford to lose that segment of our economy. And really, that was our initial mission. And we launched March 13th of this year. And then the next day, the governor shut the state down. So our timing was impeccable, as always. And, so we went into a hiatus there for about 6 weeks, like most people. And of course, the pandemic really brought to light the issues with the supply chains, how we were so reliant upon foreign countries, and some of them not what I would consider to be friends or allies, for very critical products, whether it was in the medical arena, pharmaceutical arena, or generally as components to manufacturing. So we have now taken that as part of our mantle going forward, is to also promote this reshoring of manufacturing into the United States. And even more so, we believe southwestern Pennsylvania, given everything we're blessed with here, from the abundant energy and the reliable energy, skilled and dedicated, hardworking workforce, when it comes into the construction area, energy, manufacturing, our transportation, our infrastructure. There's just so many things that we have that are positives and are critical for a manufacturing environment that we really believe we can be the epicenter of that. But obviously, there are things that need to be done to make that happen. Beyond wishing it happens or hoping it happens, there is work that needs to be done to make sure that occurs. So that's really how we got together. We're broad-based. We have energy companies. CNX is also a founding partner. US Steel is a founding partner. People's Gas is a founding partner. Some of the other members are Duquesne Light. TMS International is a member. Energy Transfer is a member. And just yesterday, Penn American Water, joined us as well. So I think we've built a good roster of companies. We have the building trades, the USW is a member, utility worker unions are a member. So it's really a broad-based group that is committed fully to seeing this region really get the benefits of what we can from what we have and to maximize that for everybody across the board.
Jeff, if you don't mind me asking, what's the goals of the organization? What do you hope to accomplish?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is really public education. I think we all understand this, the debates that go on over the environment versus industry. You have some, quite frankly, wild claims get made from the environmental side about the quality of life here relative to having the energy industry and manufacturing industry. So part of it is to really balance that conversation. You're not going to make progress in addressing or solving issues with a battle of sound bites in the media. You have to take that approach based on what reality is, on applied science, on what's technologically feasible. Because you wish something was going to be that way doesn't mean it can be that way right now. But we think this whole turmoil we have over it really inhibits us from working towards that because the sides get very polarized. So, that's one aspect to it is really educating the public to that and our political leaders and elected officials and community leaders, just so they understand that there is a balance to this and there is another side to this story. Beyond that, it's really working with state lawmakers of both parties. We're bipartisan from our approach to this. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. If you're supportive of the things we believe need to be done to move this region forward, to recover in this region, we're going to support those efforts that you're making. By the same token, if you do something we don't think is beneficial, we'll let them know that we think that as well. So, it's really helping to craft policy, to educate about policy. And, and a lot of what we do is not going to be public, with the union membership we have and the companies that are involved, they obviously have relationships, whether they be political or in the policy area, regulatory area. So there's a lot of work we will and are doing behind the scenes that also can, have very positive impacts to what we're trying to do.
Scott, Range Resources. Range has always been a leader, of course, in energy production and also economic and community initiatives in our region. Why is this important to Range?
Well, Jeff, as you certainly appreciate and the participants this morning certainly know, there's no shortage of organizations that companies are asked to participate in. Many of them struggle, frankly, with defining a mission, and I think as a direct extension, oftentimes struggle with posting results. I would hasten to add that I think we've got two exceptions participating today. Your organization, the Chamber, is certainly an exception to that general observation, but that's also true with Pittsburgh Works Together. This organization was formed out of a mutual appreciation, as Jeff indicated, for what manufacturing and energy production has meant to the region, to the communities that make up that region, to our neighbors, to our families, and the desire to engage, to allow others to understand that impact. Not just what is, although that's an important part of it, but what could be. And Jeff touched on that. Certainly, we've all seen great benefit, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. But we need others to come alongside and establish a similar understanding of that opportunity and what it takes to achieve that. And Jeff mentioned, kind of the fundamentals, how we look on paper, and he's right. You put this region up against any region anywhere in the country, and we come out ahead. And in addition to those items that Jeff listed, I think this region has an outstanding reputation for being solutions oriented. This region is made up of people who are problem solvers, and there's huge opportunity, but as Jeff indicated, there are some challenges. And so when this organization was initially being discussed, it just made all the sense in the world for Range to engage. Range, there's no, as I said to the guys in our initial conversations, there's no daylight between Range Resources and Pennsylvania, between Range Resources and Southwest Pennsylvania. We're all in here. So this region being successful, these opportunities being realized, is essential to the success of Range. And we know that the Range has a responsibility to play a part in that. So we have been so impressed. I have a tendency, as my kids tell me, to have too high a set of expectations, and I suppose that's true. And the same is true of organizations like, as indicated, the Chamber and Pittsburgh Works Together. But I can tell you that our direct experience has been, expectations have been exceeded by a significant margin. Great outfit, great bunch of folks, and most importantly, great mission and a great strategy to execute on that mission. So for us, it was an easy decision.
Thank you also for that nice compliment on the Chamber. We appreciate it and appreciate your continued support as well. Tom, I have the same question for you. Why is this important to you, and most importantly, your membership?
Well, this actually all started back with me back when I was a business agent with the ironworkers. I used to see how companies and the trades would fight. It would always be a battle between companies and the different trades. There was never that camaraderie there that you needed. So when I left the ironworkers, came over here with the building trades, thought there was something we needed to do to get closer, work better with the developers and the general contractors. So I personally started making different connections and meeting with different organizations, even before I met Mr. Nobers, to try to get that connection, try to work better together with companies, see that we need to work together to move forward in the community and then with our jobs and our businesses. The better that we work together, I thought, the more we would be better off. So then it comes the Builders Guild and Jeff Nobers. I was fortunate to be involved with that. Then I met Morgan O'Brien about a year ago, and Jeff and Morgan, which are the brains of the organization, we all come up with this idea because we've seen how manufacturing needs to come back to the United States. So to my membership, that's important. It's all about jobs with us, man hours and jobs. So this organization just sort of started out slowly, but between the connections that Morgan O'Brien has and Mr. Nobers, we just started getting people more and more involved. Then they start to see when we put out what we were doing, people just, the phone keeps ringing. They want to get more and more involved, and Mr. Nobers and Morgan themselves, they just attract a lot of people, and it has just taken. I represent all the building trades.
Question I would have for all of you gentlemen is when you see initiatives such as this, they tend to focus around a single issue, such as a new highway or a specific industry. This seems very broad-based. What are the attributes on working together? How do you see that moving forward on a broad-based issue such as this?
Well, I think the strength of the organization, as Tom mentioned, is the fact that, you know, we have multiple labor unions, we have contractor associations, we have some of the best known companies in the region. And, you know, Scott and I have talked about this. You know, we certainly don't agree on every single thing. I mean, that's not even feasible to have happen. But the things we agree upon are so much more important than anything we disagree about, that it really doesn't make sense for us to be concerned with, you know, what I think most of us consider to be minor things relative to the big picture. And the fact that we can go in and talk to lawmakers, talk to other organizations, and it's not just Range by themselves or U.S. Steel by themselves or a labor union by themselves. You know, when we walk in there, it's organizations that represent on the labor side easily 120 to 130,000 members of these unions. On the corporate side, tens of thousands of more employees. And then on the contractor side, tens of thousands of more. So, you know, I was trying to figure out just how many people really are connected to the companies that are members. And I mean, in my estimation, it's easily 350 to 400,000 people whose jobs are, you know, predicated upon us being successful in what we're trying to do. And so that is a powerful thing. You know, most lawmakers don't dismiss you when you come in as a group together from these diverse viewpoints, yet all working on a common goal. And then I think to that heart of that question, Jeff, is, you know, Range may have a hearing on something. We'll attend and support them. If there's a highway project that, you know, is getting pushback and we believe it's important, you know, for continued development, we're going to come out in favor of that particular project. You know, we've responded to multiple editorials or op-ed pieces, whether they be by lawmakers or environmental groups or others that question, you know, why do we need the Southern Expressway? Why do we need to finish the Mon Valley Expressway? Why do we need to do this to the airport? And, you know, what they're not seeing is the bigger picture as to how all these things are connected together, you know, to allow us to continue to grow this region. So I think that's really the strength and the impact we can have, because, you know, I would tell you 2 or 3 years ago, you know, if one of our members was, you know, pursuing something and they were getting pushback, they'd be fighting that on their own. And that's not the case anymore. You know, we have a critical mass of folks that and companies that are going to be supportive, and we'll show up wherever we need to show up to push those things through.
Yeah, Jeff, if I could just quickly add, I get your point, Jeff Catula. You know, typically you see organizations established to pursue a particular objective or project. And I think Jeff Nobers is exactly right. I think the beauty of this particular organization is that there's a general structure and strategy, a general objective, but with the ability to deploy on a specific issue or project. And so included within that general strategy is that ability to deploy on a targeted project. And I think, you know, an additional positive observation which makes this organization unique is, to Jeff's point, while a particular project might benefit a particular company member or a particular segment of the trades, everybody celebrates that success, because we all know that success breeds success, that it all rolls up, that as we're successful on individual projects, it supports the overall objective to advance an appreciation for what manufacturing, what the trades, what energy production has meant and could mean to this industry. And so I think it's building blocks to establish a realization of this opportunity that I think not just Pittsburgh Works Together, but I suspect your members, Jeff Cotula, understand as well, is that while there's been huge benefit here already, there's a lot more sitting on the near horizon to achieve if we get ourselves in order and the right things happen. The other side of that is, not to start the day with a down message, but the other side of that coin is, we get it wrong, that opportunity is going to be lost, and it's not likely to circle back around soon. So there is a real sense of urgency, but I think this organization, and again, not to continue to compliment you, Cotula, because I understand there's real risk in doing so, but I think the two organizations represented here this morning understand that we've got a lot of work to do, and we need to be all about that.
We have a question coming in from one of our participants, if I could read it. Energy, of course, is so important to our area. What more can local community leaders do to get out real facts to the general public about this initiative? So what can people working for your organizations, others in the community, do to promote this message?
Well, I think the first thing folks can do is, if they go to our website, pghworks.com, and they can sign up to receive periodic information from us. I don't want to say they're newsletters, but they'll receive information as we develop things and send it out. And they can be on that routine distribution. I think the other thing they can do, again, through that website, they can contact, any of us, and we can supply them with additional information. I think the biggest thing is, and Jeff, you were with us when we met with the Washington County Commissioners, and then, Scott was in that meeting as well. And, when they asked, what can we do to help? And really, what we need, whether it's the county commissioners or a local township manager or council, if you're supportive of what we're trying to do, we need you to ride your state lawmakers too, and those that formulate policy and regulation, and let them know that you're supportive of that industry or that project. It's not being supportive of Pittsburgh Works, it's supporting that project or that industry, and that's critical to the economic viability and future of your township or your county. Yeah, we're a regional organization, but you also win this and develop it, town by town, county by county, and a lot of what we work on has state impact too. So, obviously our primary focus and concern is here, southwestern PA, but a lot of the stuff we're doing has impacts across the state. So, if you go to that website and sign up, we will definitely be getting information out to you that you can then use in turn, to counter some of these negative things that come up as these projects are pursued or developed.
I want to make sure I get it correct, so I'm going to read it to you, gentlemen. The kind of jobs you're focusing on, manufacturing, energy, and construction, are the kind of jobs that can attract people who work with their hands, who might not be interested in a behind-the-desk or a four-year college degree to get started in their career. But sometimes those opportunities seem to get lost on college degrees or new high-tech opportunities. So the question is making people aware of these career options a part of what Pittsburgh Works is implementing?
I could answer that for you, Jeff. One thing that I do with the building trades, I got involved with a program about a year ago. It's called a leadership. It's run through Judge Ron Arnaudy and Brad Kilmeyer. What I do, I go to different high schools once a month or maybe twice a month, and I talk to the 9th and 10th graders. Then they bring in the 11th and 12th graders and show them and tell them the other options that there are outside of college degrees. Because a lot of these young kids today don't want to go to college. Their parents can't afford to send them to college, so they're looking for other alternatives in life. So we go and we explain to them the different trades that are out there, what there is to offer. And I was shocked by the outcry of the schools that were so, they couldn't believe the presentations that we were putting on in front of these young people. And after the presentations, between Ron, myself, and Brad Kilmauer, we'd have lines of kids interested in different trades. So I guess my point being is all these different schools, and I've probably been to a dozen of them already till this happened, the pandemic. We're getting a lot of young people that are coming looking at our schools and, you know, and taking our tests. So we need to attract young people because the older generation is moving on, and we need to keep filling in to keep our trade strong. So I think that's a big deal. This is all tied in with Pittsburgh Works. It's sort of, but it just promotes everything that we do. And very proud of it, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I have a good quote here from, I typically don't do this, but State Representative Natalie Mihalik just emailed in that she's supportive of your efforts and complimentary of the good group that we have this morning. So thank you, Representative, for joining us, and you gentlemen for your good work as well. We do have time for one more question. We have a couple of them this morning, but I do apologize for not getting to all of them. But one final question is what can this state and region do if we wanted to attract more manufacturing jobs? We had several questions along that line, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Hey, Jeff.
Well, you know, I think certainly it's no secret that Pennsylvania is not the most business-friendly state in the country. But, you know, it goes deeper than what tax rates are, what the regulations are, or what policy is. I think clearly right now, companies don't feel welcome here. You know, the companies that are here don't feel that people appreciate them and what they're doing for our economy. And then when you're talking to a company outside of the region and they see some of the things that are said by elected officials who happen to run cities that are located within this region relative to the petrochemical industry or others, you know, really what's their incentive to come here? Even all things being equal from a tax standpoint or a regulation standpoint, if you don't feel welcome, you know, just take it down to that personal level. If you don't think people want you involved in something, your tendency is going to be to, okay, well, I'll go find some place where they do want me involved. And I think that's one of the big issues. But, you know, tax policy, you know, other regulatory issues and so forth. And, you know, Representative Mihalik, as she said, you know, we have met with her and others, and, you know, and they understand that. And we have every faith and confidence in working with them that, you know, you get everything, you know, pushed through, not necessarily, but I think you'll see in the not too distant future sincere efforts and serious efforts made to change some of these dynamics that would make companies want to come here.
I'm sorry, Jeff, was that a question for me?
I just said, Tom or Scott, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think all have to realize that we're in a competition here. And I think Jeff Nober makes a very good point. There are clearly some who feel that business owes it to the region, right? And I think there has to be a fundamental reset in terms of how we think about policies, how we position the region, how we position the state. We have to hang a sign on the door which says open for business, and then another one under it that says we really mean it, please come, right? Because other states are doing exactly that. To Jeff's point, and to your point earlier, Jeff Catula, we've got everything going for us, right? On paper, we've got it all. And yet businesses don't want to come here. Well, there's a reason for that. And so again, we have to be solutions oriented. We have to examine why it is that companies aren't coming here and address those issues, be solutions oriented, tackle them head on. If we do that, the opportunity will be realized. If we don't do that, there are other places for them to go. They don't have to come here. And as Jeff Nober points out, they aren't coming here in the way we want them to yet. But of course, that's what we're all about. All of those engaged in this conversation this morning are about, and we need to draw others into that discussion. And as Jeff points out, and I have to echo, there's a strong delegation here from the Southwest, Natalie and others who understand that and are focused on it. And everybody should understand what they're doing and consider finding ways to support their initiatives, because they're doing good work that will pursue the sort of solutions that are necessary here.
Well, gentlemen, I certainly appreciate
And really,
Tom, please.
I can't really add a lot to more than what those two guys said, but I do believe that our elected officials need to step up and look at the regulations that are going on here in Pennsylvania and change them somehow. Legislatively, I'm not sure exactly how they would have to do it, but we are sitting on a gold mine here in Western Pennsylvania. We are the Saudi Arabia of the United States. So we need to bring people here, and we have to have incentives to bring them here, because it's an affordable place to live. It's a friendly place to live. As you know, Pennsylvanians are very friendly people. All we got to do is get them here, and everything else I believe would work out. But we need their leadership politically to help.
Well, gentlemen, like we like to say in Washington County, the power to prosper is right under our feet, but also that applies to manufacturing, construction, high-tech jobs, to advanced manufacturing, and of course, traditional industries. So we're at the Chamber supportive of your initiatives. We want to be partners with you as well. And I'd like to thank our guests this morning, Jeff Nobers, Executive Director of Pittsburgh Works Together, Tom Melcher, and Scott Roy. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Community Bank and Range Resources, for their continuing support. Thank you for being with us this morning. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Nice day.